Hello there. The contradiction between words and deeds could hardly be any greater. On the one hand, the new British Prime Minister Liz Truss announces a new Thatcher revolution from New York with low taxes, deregulated markets, and a trimmed state. Meanwhile, at home in London, her Minister for Economic Affairs, Jacob Rees-Mogg, is explaining the details of a price cap on the energy market. This represents one of the largest state intervention that Britain has ever seen. Truss used her visit to the United Nations General Assembly to announce what appeared to be a radical change in economic policy. We want people to be able to keep more of the money they earn because we believe that freedom comes before instructions. That was said in the text of her speech, which she gave at the UN General Assembly on Wednesday evening. The Conservative head of government had previously defended the massive tax breaks planned by her government for companies and also for higher earners, and she defended them in several interviews. Lower taxes lead to economic growth. I have no doubt about that, is what Truss said, taking the same supply side stance that former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and ex-US President Ronald Reagan had pursued decades before her, but not in an inflation like that. Truss was told by incumbent US President Joe Biden that not everyone believes the economic policy that has become known under the brands Thatcher Revolution and Reaganomics to be a success. I'm fed up with the trickle down economy. It's never worked, Biden tweeted. And he was referring to the hope that tax breaks for the rich and for corporations will boost growth, thereby increasing prosperity for all. More will increase inflation. The disagreement with Biden, who also made it clear to Truss at the joint meeting in New York on Wednesday that there will be no bilateral trade agreement between the United States and Great Britain in the foreseeable future, is not the only discrepancy in the British Prime Minister's economic restart. Irrespective of its economically liberal theses or her theses, Truss herself announced massive state intervention in the British energy markets 2 weeks ago, the details of which were explained by Economics Minister Rees-Mogg on Wednesday. Specifically, it's about a price cap for the costs of electricity and gas, which should help both private households and companies to better cope with the sharp rise in energy prices. I talked about this in the morning already. While electricity and gas bills for consumers are to be frozen at £2,500 for 2 years from October 1st, companies in the UK will initially only be relieved for 6 months. Accordingly, the wholesale prices that energy suppliers can demand from their corporate customers are to be kept at £211 per megawatt hour for electricity and £75 per megawatt hour for gas, and that's for 6 months. According to the government, that would be a government rebate of up to 50% of prices expected next winter. In addition, the price surcharge to support renewable energies is to be suspended. However, the energy providers should retain a small amount of leeway when negotiating long-term supply contracts with their corporate customers so as not to completely stifle competition on the energy markets through this state price cap. The cost of the whole bailout package for consumers and businesses is estimated at £150 billion, but will depend on how much government-controlled prices differ from actual market prices. The government pays the energy suppliers the difference. The new government in London wants to finance the massive energy aid through additional borrowing. Chancellor of the Exchequer Kwasi Kwarteng explained the details of this and the other planned tax cuts will explain this today in an emergency budget. After 6 months, the Ministry of Economic Affairs then wants to examine which sectors and companies can also count on state aid. Truss has already indicated that she has her eye on British pubs in particular. I can assure pub owners that they are exactly the type of company that will receive this longer-term support. That's what she said in an interview. Michael Kill of the Nighttime Industries Association recently warned that 7 out of 10 pubs could go bankrupt without government help. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.